Hello, I'm Felicity Cohen. I'm so excited to introduce you to my Wellness Warriors podcast. For over 20 years, I've been a passionate advocate for helping thousands of Australians find solutions to treating obesity and health-related complications through surgical intervention and holistic managed care. My podcast is dedicated to all the people, past, present and future, who have helped shape my journey and continue to inspire me to work consistently to achieve a healthier Australia in both adults and future generations. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to the Wellness Warriors podcast. Today I have invited in to chat with me Jodie Siggers. Please make Jodie welcome. I'm really excited to have you here today. So the theme obviously of the podcast is all about wellness, and talking about some of our patient journeys is just so exciting to share. So first of all, let's start with a little bit about who you are, Jodie.
So I am 20 months post-sleeve, and I have lost I've lost 63 kilos. I'm a mum of an 8-year-old. I work full-time, I study, and I'm also a carer for my mum. So I have a lot happening, but I love life, so we're in a good place.
Wearing a lot of hats.
Yeah.
So let's just focus first of all, 63 kilos in 20 months. That's a massive amount of weight to really lose in what seems like a relatively short space of time. And I think the really interesting thing there is that so many people spend a lifelong journey of trialing so many different things that fail, but to achieve that level of success in such a short space of time, it's pretty phenomenal. It really is. It's quite overwhelming to actually think that you can lose that volume of weight in 20 months and transform your life in such a short space of time.
Yep.
So I guess let's look back to 20 months ago. How many times did you actually think about solutions for weight and whether or not you were going to have weight loss surgery? At what point in time did that kind of play out for you?
So I've tried, as amongst many weight loss surgery patients, lots of different diets and potions and exercise programs and apps and everything under the sun, but they just wouldn't work for me. Or they did work for a little while, but then I would put on twice as much, I guess, as I'd lost. I've had friends that have had the surgery, so I think I just one day something just clicked. I was like, let's just give a call. There's no harm in calling. So I called up and I spoke to somebody on the desk, and then it just all happened from there. It was a flow-on effect, and then I've had my surgery. I love it, and I would never ever regret it. Never have.
Fantastic. What were some of the limitations or things that you felt like you were being held back from as a heavier person?
I've always wanted to be a runner. You see runners everywhere on the coast, and they just look so happy and healthy and loving life, and I've just always wanted to be that person, and never at my weight could I have done that comfortably or for very long or without losing breath. So that was one thing that I've really been able to do now, and I love running. So
you're talking my language. I love running too. I love that that's been part of what you've embraced. It's really exciting to watch that part of your journey emerge and grow and change, and it's such a vastly different lifestyle when you're able to physically cope with that kind of activity, not suffer from the shortness of breath, but also all the other benefits that go with it. The positive endorphin rush, feeling amazing, and enjoying that sensation of being a runner is pretty unique. And with 63 kilos on top of you now, your risk of injury and all sorts of other things, apart from actually feeling like you're capable and competent to run any measure of distance, would have been a challenge, I'm sure.
Very much.
So what events have you competed in so far?
So I did the Q1 Stair challenge early in the year, and that's too many steps. I think that's over 1,300 steps up to the 77th floor. So I did that with about 2 weeks training, and I was quite happy with progress with that. I've done many a park run, so I love park runs now. I've also done the 10K at the GC Marathon, I have done the colour run this year. I've just done the GC50, and I will finish off the year with the resolution run at the end of the year.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
How was the GC50?
It was good fun. It was beach run. I've never done beach running before. I knew it would be tough. So what was a 5k run turned out to be a 6k run, but it felt like a 10k run. So I was pretty exhausted at the end, but I just love to look at my medal. So I just love it.
Exciting. That's so great. And what about next year for the Gold Coast Marathon? Of course, you're going to be on the Weight Loss Solutions Australia team
definitely.
all over again.
Yep.
Which event are you going to head
We are
for?
stepping it up and we're doing the 21k.
Fantastic. Yep. Okay, that's fabulous. You're going to love it.
Yep.
I guess the training, obviously you've got to step up your training to manage that and to be able to do it well and to achieve that goal of not just completing it but feeling good at the end, recovering well. So the training's really important. From a nutrition point of view, how do you actually manage with ensuring that you're getting really good quality food in to manage that increased level of activity?
So I'm very cautious of what I eat. So I'm very much the person that eats to fuel my body. I really don't give in to cravings much anymore. I won't say I won't give in to them. I'm still human, but moderation is the key. So protein's I will eat protein over anything else on my plate first, and I just balance it out during the day. So I eat 6 to 7 meals a day, so I constantly feel like I'm eating, but always feel satisfied. But if I'm ever in doubt anyway, I've always on the phone to the dietitians just to say this is how much training, and obviously stepping up my training and my fueling right, because I don't want injury.
There's so many key messages in there that I really love. Fueling your body, it's so important. And in terms of a message for wellness, that's how we need to treat our bodies. We need to fuel them well. I love that you use the word moderation, because my belief system is very much about, everything in moderation, and that you're still allowing yourself to have those treats when you need them and you feel like them. That's normal and it's good and it's balanced. And using the word balance, I love that too, balance in life. And these are themes that are coming out through a lot of our conversations on the Wellness Warriors podcast series, is that wellness is about all of those things, balance and moderation being key factors. So I really like that. That's fantastic.
Definitely.
How has your surgical journey impacted life for your family?
I've probably been lucky. My husband is so supportive of me, as well as my son. My son knows that I have a tiny tummy. He doesn't know why I have a tiny tummy and why I did it. But my husband's lost a little bit of weight too. He's lost probably about 10 kilos, and that's just because I serve smaller meals now. I don't cook as much meals. We don't eat takeaway as much anymore. So it's really balanced him out, and because I'm constantly wanting to move, they constantly get dragged around with me too. So they get their steps up, they get their cardio in, and it's that incidental exercise, I guess, that we do a lot of together, which also helps with them. So my son did the 1k at the GC50. He was in the line with me to register, and all of a sudden he wants to run. I wasn't stopping him, so he done it with me. So it's that learnt behaviour that he's also picking up, which I'm really happy with and proud of him.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and having that family impact as part of the story as well, that it only takes you to create that impact on your husband. 10 kilos is a lot of weight to lose, by the way. That's huge. And that you're all more active as a family as a result of your change and what you've gone through, I think is fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, they probably don't love it all the time as much as I do, but I think it's just that being together as a family, we have so much fun. We did a trip to Uluru earlier this year, and we walked around the base of Uluru, which is 11k and 3 hours long in heat, and I don't think I wouldn't have been able to do it, definitely 63 kilos ago, and my husband wouldn't have been able to do it either. So just those little accomplishments too as a family were great to have push us.
Fabulous. Did you have any major health concerns before your surgery, or anything that you were concerned was a risk factor for your future?
So we've got heart disease in our family, but also had an underactive thyroid. So I was always pushing harder than I had to because of my thyroid and not getting very far. But my thyroid I don't take any medication for my thyroid anymore. I did have polycystic as well, but I don't have any signs of that anymore either. So they were probably my own health issues underlying.
Okay. All right, fabulous. So tell me a little bit about how wellness translates for you in life, and what does it mean to you to embrace a wellness attitude to life?
I guess wellness attitude to me is just the long-term goal, and being around for as long as I can with the best body and the best fitness and mindset as well. So the overall package, being fitter, being stronger and being motivated, are pretty much my motto in life these days.
How do your friends relate to what you've been through and seeing you now, and seeing that pretty amazing change in that relatively short space of time? How does that look, and how do your friends and family feel about it?
I still get people I walk past still now that have seen me through my journey that will double check and go, was that Jodie? But they've been so supportive. A lot of them, I think that a lot of them are very proud of what I've done and what I continue to do, and I'm pretty sure that I've motivated a lot of people just to have a rethink of how they manage their day-to-day life as well. And we have now a group that goes to the gym, so it's a social aspect as well as you're getting the fitness benefits too. So I don't know if it's because they see me doing it that they can do it. I don't know if I make it look easy. I don't know, but there's been a big shift in the culture amongst my friends. So
that's fantastic. Yeah. So all of your friends going to the gym together, that's something that you would never have done beforehand?
Definitely not. Wow. So there's now a big group of us. I think there used to only be 5 of us, and now I think that we're up to about 8 people. So classes keep increasing.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, but we have the best time, and it doesn't feel like work. It's fun.
Yeah.
And that's what fitness, I think, should be. It should be fun. If you're bored and it's hurting, or you're dragging yourself, then you're not doing it right.
So that's really impressive. Not only are you having an impact on your family, but it's your friend network as well. So not only are they accepting of what you've actually chosen to do for your better health outcomes, but they're embracing it by being more active with you.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's brilliant. Yeah. I absolutely love that. Yeah. So the multifaceted impact on others around you and your network is huge.
Yeah, it's that motto of hanging around or being with people that are like-minded, and it's the same when you go to the Gold Coast Marathon and the training for that. Your mindset changes because you're with people that want to have fun and want to achieve at the end of it. So it's just fun. It
is fun, and I love that aspect of what we do as a community, and growing that as part of Weight Loss Solutions Australia for me is really important. The running team, for example, grew from 32 to 63 to 100 over 3 years. Yeah. So who knows where we'll be in 2020, but I hope we're going to have an amazing group, and I think it's that whole sense of community, working towards common goals, and driving and motivating each other. I think there's also a level of accountability in there.
Definitely.
Because when you do it as a team and as a group, you feel a lot more accountable. You have to show up.
Yeah.
You show up for the team.
Yeah.
So I think that's really valuable, and I mean, for me personally, I love that that's what we do, and it's one of the most rewarding parts of this business from my perspective, is not just about the surgical pathway, the surgical journey and everything that's connected to that. It's that extracurricular type activity that's really life-changing, and that to me is a lot more about that wellness concept. That's where it comes from. It's the ancillary things that we do that become translated into how people live their lives, which is a lot more of the long-term, I guess, vision, whether it's the cooking classes that we run or the training programs for the Gold Coast Marathon. I get super passionate about things like that, and it's a lot of fun.
Definitely.
And I really feel like that's what we should be doing for patients, and that this journey is it is a much bigger picture journey, and clearly you embrace all of that, which I so love about you. How did you feel the first time you went to see your doctor for a referral, and how did your GP relate to your requesting a referral to have weight loss surgery?
My doctor's been quite supportive, and I had no issues, thankfully, with his support and signing the forms and getting it done. And he's been great throughout the journey,
Awesome.
as well. And he's seen the results. I don't know if he was a bit of a skeptic at first, but to see results, I think that's really helped him. And then hopefully he's had other patients in similar situations, that'll help them as well.
Yeah, it's a really interesting theme, and one of our patients who I was chatting to earlier today had surgery 18 years ago, and we were talking about, you know, the stigma then that was associated with bariatric surgery 18 years ago. You know, GPs were not so willing to refer, and they didn't have the same level of understanding, and it's come through patients who've actually educated the medical community because they're seeing such positive behavioural, lifestyle, health outcomes and changes, which are, you know, influencing them around the value of bariatric surgery.
Yeah, as a bigger picture, it's not just about your ego or being vain about wanting to be skinny or to look a certain way. There's underlying, you want to be healthier, you want to be able to move your body. So that's the big picture, I think, is just to be healthier, not skinnier.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But looking great is a fabulous byproduct.
Of course it is. That's always a bonus, but not my aim in the game.
No, absolutely. It's not your first priority or your goal, but you know, emerging as a healthier weight person so often has those side effects of, you know, it enhances how you look and not just your health, but how you do look and how you feel. And then of course you've got how that relates to your self-esteem, and how you behave every day.
That's so true. I remember having to ring earlier in my journey that I was getting, it was a stage I just was getting lots of compliments. I don't know if I hadn't seen people for a long time or they'd just seen a drastic change, and getting the different comments that we're getting, and I was finding it really difficult to, what do I say? I've never had so many compliments in my life, and I was really awkward. And then if they felt awkward, I rang Leslie and had a chat to her. I was like, I don't know how to deal with this, and it seems silly, but she put it at peace, and all you have to say is thank you. And sometimes that was hard to say, but it's just because it wasn't my normal. So once I'd said it a few times, it just became my normal, and I can easily take a compliment now. So that was unexpected to have to deal with.
I think that's a really interesting challenge, and I really believe that it's something that many people face. Not just the fact that they're not used to dealing with that positive attention and the compliments, but it's not that easy to take a compliment, and we're not necessarily conditioned to accept that that's okay.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it is definitely something that I see many people have to deal with, and you know, really good advice that you just have to learn to say thank you and be appreciative and you know, and move on. So it is a learned thing to deal with. So you know, you deserve every single one of those compliments and accept them because they're awesome, and you know, it's nice that people acknowledge you.
That's right.
In a positive way.
Yes.
You know, we'd much rather that than anything else.
For sure, that's right.
What are some of the other challenges that you feel you've faced along the way?
I don't like to keep saying the word journey, but it is a journey because you do go through so many different stages, you know, to come out at the end, and I'm still yet to come out at the end. I'm not where I probably want to be yet, but I haven't had a lot of body image issues. Obviously I've got some loose skin, and I was really worried about that. Like, I'm not having weight loss surgery because I don't want the loose skin, but I'd rather loose skin than, you know, an extra 63 kilos. So, but it hasn't stopped me from, you know, doing anything. So I haven't had a lot of other issues in that side. And then I sort of lost the question.
How How do you find dealing with your mum, being a personal carer? You know, it's a really challenging job for anybody. Do you feel that physically you're more capable and competent of managing all of her needs?
Yes, for sure. And mum's had a few cancer issues over the last couple of years, and she's come out on top. But nutrition has obviously been a big part of her wellness and to become healthier again. So to be able to know what I've learnt from health, the different healthy options. She's also lost weight because she's put on weight from chemo, but living with me, we have smaller meals, we have healthier meals, we have more nutritional meals, so she's really benefited from that. And again, she's also lost weight, and she's thankful, and she'll tell friends that, you know, since living with Jodie, I've lost this amount of weight because we only have smaller meals, and so that's really good. So then that gives her more mobility as well, with obviously the less weight she's carrying.
So really interesting question around the financial calculations of how that impacts life post bariatric surgery. So you mentioned before that you don't have as much takeaway. You cook a lot at home. Your meals are smaller. How do you find that on the family budget? Do you think it's made a difference?
It has on the food budget, I guess, but on the wardrobe, it's sort of shifted towards the wardrobe budget because I can wear more clothes. So, and I can shop anywhere and everywhere now. So I guess that's that benefit that we've just transferred, or I have transferred that money to the wardrobe. But it has made a big difference in our food budget, which is great for my wardrobe.
Yeah, fabulous. I love that. But I just think it's interesting because I think people don't actually understand how much money you can save long term when you look at how much you've probably spent on multiple solutions in the past that maybe have not given you what you wanted, or they may have been short term band-aid solutions, whatever they might have been. But having something that's permanent and sustainable, the financial impact can be really significant, and it can have other resounding kind of benefits as well. So in terms of reducing medications or doctor visits or allied health other visits, whatever it might be, management of injuries, whatever that might have looked like in the past, it is quite interesting. And I think long term you're going to be way out in front financially if you don't spend all the money on your wardrobe.
Well, I can't. Well, I'll never be in front then. But even saying that, like, I haven't had a flu, touch wood, or a cold or anything like that since I started my journey. So that we're almost 2 years, and I really think that that's just down from, you know, being healthier, eating better choices, more fruit and vegetables and things like that, and just moving my body. So I think that that's been a real benefit. And cold and flu medication is quite expensive, so definitely saving, you know, lots of money over the last 2 years.
Oh, and productivity from downtime if
that's
you're sick
right.
as well.
Yeah. I'm trying to, and then I guess time off work, and then it's the extra stress trying to catch up from not being at work while being sick. So there's those hidden benefits too.
So what about in the workplace? How has that changed your life?
I'm more confident. I get that a lot, that I'm a lot more confident, and I hold myself differently. Apparently, I don't obviously see it, but I've had that comment quite a few times, is that I hold myself different. I'm a lot more confident. And I do, I guess, thinking that I do speak to people differently and maybe a little bit calmer and nicer. And just, I think that was just my internal, I wasn't happy probably definitely wasn't happy on the inside, and that, I guess, externalized talking to different people. So, and even at work, we've got a lift, but I choose to take the stairs up to the 4th floor. And again, we're just getting more people at the gym as well with our group. I'm just going to take that thought a little bit further, because for me, when we're talking wellness, that self-confidence, but happiness, you know, feeling happy in yourself as well is a big part of wellness and how you feel, because that is obviously your mental health overall as well. So, you know, that's fascinating how that translates to your interactions with so many different people at in different, you know, spaces within your life, your family, your friends, your work colleagues,
when you're feeling happier and calmer, those interactions and relationships are going to be so much better as well.
They definitely are, and I'm a person that is prone to depression and anxiety. I know my symptoms and I know my signs, but these days, instead of going for medication and things like that, I just really need to take myself for a run, or I just need to get outside and just be free and feel free, and that seems to lift a lot of that extra pressure off me and calms me, and calms my anxiety a lot.
Love that. And I think that running really can be a therapy for depression and anxiety and help you keep it in check. There's so much research on the benefits of running for treatment of depression and anxiety, not just being outdoors and fresh air and everything else, but how that physiologically changes you and helps you cope better with depression and anxiety, and you've taken that on board in such a big way. So it's clearly having massive impact on your overall wellness.
Yeah, definitely. I probably get depression if I don't go for a run. So it's completely...
I relate to that.
Table turn.
I love that.
If it rains, it's not going to be good.
So tell me a little bit about, looking into your crystal ball the next 5 to 10 years. What do you think you can see happening for you?
Lots of runs. I've already planned out quite a few runs for 2020, so I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to doing it right though, so I'm looking into getting a running coach. I also want to do triathlon, so I'm starting to learn to swim laps. I can swim obviously, but actual lap swim, so hopefully Santa brings me some goggles. So that's for next year. And then it's just to continue, and I'd love to inspire other people too to look into other options and know more potions and shakes and things like that, because I don't think long term that they're of benefit. And it's just to keep moving. I don't want to go back to the old Jodie. I want to stay this new, happy, excited person. I don't want to lose that momentum.
Beautiful, and you absolutely are embracing and living life to the full. So on the running calendar next year, for us, apart from Gold Coast Marathon, I'm hoping that we're going to have a team do City to Surf. Is that on your agenda?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, beautiful, because that will be a really special event in memory of one of our special patients that I'm excited about. So that'd be awesome to have you on that team.
That'd be fun to just go away for a weekend.
Absolutely, and it's Sydney, and it's such a great run. Finishing Bondi on the beach, it's awesome.
Yeah, definitely on it.
Fabulous. Well, I love everything about your journey, and I love that you've been able to come in and share your story with me today, and I'm really looking forward to doing an update 12 months from now. Will be really fun, Jodie, and congratulations, and looking forward to hearing about the 2-year celebration. Hope you've got something planned for that.
I just thought I should.
Yes,
I will.
should.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that one.
Definitely have to celebrate. It's been an absolute pleasure having you in on the Wellness Warrior podcast today, and look forward to chatting again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Wellness Warriors podcast. It's been a pleasure to have you online with us. If you enjoyed the series, please leave your review, subscribe and follow, and we look forward to sharing many more stories with you in the future.